What's up, Nio family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Nio, Tesla, SPY, and the overall markets. I'm also going to talk about why we have some very important data coming out for the markets next week and why Nio absolutely exploded as we're up 12.8%. There's going to be a big move coming next week as well with more potential upside. Let me just mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15. And the offer ends very soon in just 3 days. For Nio, we're up 12.8% for many different reasons. I'm going to talk about what those reasons are. But let's first talk about the week as we have something very important for the markets and Nio. For Monday, it's going to be September 30th, 2024. We have a couple of pieces of data, the Chicago PMI coming out, but the main thing is going to be Jerome Powell's speech at 1:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see what Jerome Powell has to say. Might cause some volatility on Monday. For Tuesday, so either on Tuesday or Wednesday, by the way, NIO is going to be announcing their deliveries reports for the month of September. Can't wait to see what they tell us. It depends on the timing. So in the US, it's obviously going to be a little bit earlier for us compared to China, and China's going to be a lot later. That's why it might come out late on Tuesday, if not by early Wednesday for American time. So it's going to be different in China, but that's when the deliveries numbers will be coming out, by the way. So over the next couple of trading days, we have deliveries for NIO, and we also have some big news. So for Tuesday, we have the JOLTS job openings and very important data from the Fed. We have a bunch of Fed speakers on Tuesday as well. For Wednesday, we have a bunch of Fed speakers. Nothing else that's too crazy, but by Wednesday, NIO might be announcing their earnings for sure by this date. Sorry, not their earnings, the deliveries reports by this date. So watch and see what happens with deliveries. For Thursday, we have the ISM services data coming out and jobs numbers. And finally, for Friday, we have unemployment numbers. That's going to be very important. And the payroll status. So very important stuff is coming out. Make sure you guys are ready for how this is going to end up looking. As far as our future goes, I can't wait to see what NIO announces for their deliveries. That's going to be very, very key. This is what the earnings calendar looks like. It's very, very minor. Nothing too crazy is coming out for the week ahead of us. And then the market is currently more greedy. We're at some key supports, so we're going to be watching to see if those hold. Anyways, let's talk about NIO. So why is NIO running the way it is? It's jumping on optimistic EV demand and economic stimulus in China. China has announced that their central banks are easing on monetary policy and are providing fiscal support for businesses. That's good for many Chinese companies. That's why we saw a lot of upside for them this week. That also helped NIO. And on top of this, there's been a lot of talk about how NIO is undervalued, and it's going to be getting a lot of support for its economy, for the world around it, uh, with everything that's going on in China. So that's very, very bullish for it. That's what started this nice pump. Then we have this new piece of news right here. NIO is basically unveiling the Envoy L60 smart electric SUV built on Nvda drive. That's very, very awesome, in my personal opinion. I think that this is going to be very useful for them using NVIDIA chips. And in essence, this is going to help them with better, more safe, and more enjoyable trips in the vehicle. There's also been a lot of talk about how there's going to be a smart driving system known as OSD, which delivers lots of operations per second of high performance compute. This allows diverse and very, very good processing of sensory data, which allows for them to basically use their cameras in unison. And it's going to be very, very useful for driving assist. So I think that's very, very cool in my opinion. Very, very awesome stuff. And with this new development, it's going to be looking for very, very cool changes to their overall landscape. So with the new L60, it's very, very cool. It has very, very cool features, very, very awesome and very luxurious. And it's going to be a very, very big competitor for many of its counterparts. So very, very bullish news. This is big news for NIO. JP Morgan is maintaining an overweight rating with an $8 price target, and we got good volume. So, what do I see for the share price? What is my personal opinion of this? The answer is I remain more bullish on NIO. I think that's we have to try to see if we could try to hold above 6.6. If that breaks, we're basically going to get very close to $7. If we lose 6.4, however, we could be dipping back down to about 6.2. But nonetheless, we still look very, very bullish on the 4-hour time frame. On the daily, we look very bullish as well. We've broken our 200 EMA, and I think that NIO is on its way to start this rally to continue to the upside. We have this big gap to fill over here around the $7 area, and we have previous support becoming resistance. So I think we're going to be pushing up to $7 very soon. The share price still remains more bullish. On the other hand, SPY is not necessarily super bullish. It's kind of like consolidating right now. So On the 4-hour time frame, we're watching to see if the support holds. We're barely at our 20 EMA. If we lose this on the 4-hour, we could be looking for a dip back down to about 568, if not 565. We're going to be testing this next week. We'll see if this holds or not. It does look kind of weak here, so it might actually see a little bit of a dip towards 568 to 565. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. ES looks a little bit more bearish. We're below our 4-hour 20 EMA, and there's a risk of it coming all the way down to about 57.70. The candles would close, not the chart. The chart's futures, so it's not really closing, but it's just a candle. So this is a lot of weakness that's developing. There is a risk of it coming all the way down to the 57.60 area. For Nvda, we're looking a little bit more bearish. We have kind of like a head and shoulders. If we don't reclaim 122, we're likely dipping all the way down to 118. For other factors out there, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's kind of rejecting right here. We're very, very tight. So if we end up rejecting, we're looking for a move back down towards 65,000. For others out there, we have Tesla. Tesla's kind of rejecting at this top right here. If we reject off 260, we're looking for a dip back down towards the supports, but we're doing a good job at holding up in anticipation of deliveries. So I think that it might try to outperform the market. We might start off with a little bit of a dip to about 258, and we might try to bounce. And then we could try to break out after that in anticipation of delivery. So this might outperform the market and make its way up to about this 270 area. 265 is likely coming if we break and hold above 260. If we continue to hold it, I think there's more upside potential for this as we're holding support. So Tesla looks more bullish, unlike other stocks out there. NQ looks a little bit weak here. It could dip a little bit lower towards 20,000 flats since we're not holding above 20,200. I could be looking for a small dip to this imbalance. 20,000 flat could be coming. For the QQQ, we look a little bit more bearish. We're barely at this support at the 20 EMA at 485.97. If that fails us, we're looking for basically 481. If this holds us, we could try to rebound, but this does look like it's going to dip. So be very mindful of that. For Aapl, we're dipping right here. We're looking for basically 227. If that fails us, we're looking for 225. So be very mindful of that. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're barely at support around this 220 area. If this holds, we're looking for a push for 222. If we lose this, we're looking for 218. So far, this could try to rebound. It's doing a good job at holding up, so we'll give this the time it needs. For other factors out there, we also have Coinbase, got a nice little bounce right over here. If we lose 188, we're going to turn a little bit more bearish. As long as we hold this, we could try to push up for 195. I think there's a good chance we try to push up for that as we remain more bullish. Amazon looks more bearish. We're not able to hold 188, so this is favoring a move back down towards the next support over here, where this imbalance is around this 186 area. For Meta, we look a little bit more bearish. We're just consolidating. We're just stuck right now in the middle. If we finally lose 564, we're going to be looking for a dip back down to about 560. If we hold this, we could rebound for 570, but we're kind of stuck in the middle, so give this the time it needs. For Microsoft, we look a little bit more bearish as well. We need to reclaim 429. If we don't do so, we're going to likely be dipping all the way down to about 426. For for Google, we're barely at 165. We have a double top leg structure. If we don't break and hold above 165 next week, I could be looking for a dip back down to 163. So it has to reclaim support. Otherwise, it's going to likely dip lower. So be very, very mindful of that. Despite the fact that the market has some weakness developing, right? Some stocks like Tesla have a lot of strength. So does NIO. There's a good chance NIO will try to push. We also have deliveries coming out. That's going to be a big catalyst for either Tuesday or Wednesday. So get ready for some major, major volatility for NIO. With that being said, we look more bullish. NIO looks like it wants to go up to the sevens. I'll be back next week, not next week, on Sunday. So technically it is next week. I'll be back on Sunday anyways to give you guys another update. So I'll take a break tomorrow and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Let's hope for the best. I thank you for listening. NIO to the moon as the long term looks very bright, and peace out.